Anyway, thanks everyone for joining me in this video about racism in America. I've received a lot of questions about racism in America, and the main question is the first question, of course: Does racism exist in America? I mean, of course. I mean, everyone knows that racism exists in America. So for me, that is a no-brainer. Racism does exist in America. Now, a lot of things are exposing, you know, racism to the forefront. George Floyd. Especially in my time, I think this is one of the significant event, although tragic, that a person of color has died because of their race. So, I mean, it's sad. Uh, that's that's why I have not addressed this issue until now, and I really wanted to put some music behind this so that I don't, it's not just too sad for me. I've put some African music. I believe that it's inspiring. Most people believe in God. I believe in God that eventually we'll reach the mountain. Like Martin Luther King said, we'll, we'll get there. Anyway, how did we end up here anyway? How did we end up here? Racism was born long time ago, and it was caused by European domination of blacks in the States. Blacks were used as slaves. So since then, blacks have not been valued as, real human beings that they can contribute to the society intellectually, and with their knowledge and skills. So the systems we have now, the systems in America, including Canada, of course, Canada is not immune to this. They reflect, European domination over blacks. Blacks were used as slaves. Blacks have been used as scapegoats. Blacks have been abused, all kinds of things. So the systems we have, name it, in schools, healthcare, employment, everywhere, it just shows European domination. So it's no secret that racism exists today. So for me, it's like a transfer of that old system to the new system. Now, what's the difference between the two? The difference is that now much of systemic racism happens, at a micro level. Also, of course, at a system, like we have to change the rules and laws that we have now, of course. But from my experience, that implicit bias, unconscious bias, all these stereotypes that many people have about blacks, not just blacks, brown people, I mean Asian people. Look what's happening now, killing Asian people because of coronavirus. That being accused that Asian people brought the virus to the Western world. So all these things, contribute to racism, and that's what's happening today. So it has racism has historical backgrounds, and it would be very difficult to, overwhelmingly end it. Um, Now, what I see is that a lot of policies, government policies, business practices, courts, laws, very unjust, because racism has persisted for centuries and still does. For example, not that I'm accusing like all white people, but this is from historical events. These are historical facts. Um, I, so I cannot stand here and say, "Oh, white people are doing racism against blacks." My father, my foster father, is white, Scottish background. So, but having said that, and my father is not racist, I can say that honestly, he's the best man I've ever had. He gave me everything I needed, not just material, love, caring, a non-judgmental attitude. So, but what I'm trying to say is that we have to look at race and racism from a historical perspective, that it has existed for centuries, and we may not end it just immediately because it exists in our laws and practices. So systemic racism is embedded in those practices. Until we examine those practices we use and change them to become more fair, yeah, then we're gonna have a fair system. But we may not stop implicit bias, like like at all, everything. Those things will exist. So, what do I think is the solution? I think that we need continued discussions about race. We need to have more white, black, brown people, Asian, should be mixing together. I believe that to end racism. When people are more comfortable, there's a theory I learned in psychology, contact theory. When people have more contacts among each other, they become more comfortable, they become less judgmental. So I think that's the way. Do I have hope? I have hope. Look at what happened to George Floyd. It was, you know, uh, I guess, he was determined and charged and was found to be guilty of murder. So yeah, I have hope, but it will take some time. If I face racism, of course, that's just obvious every day. So, but we need blacks, whites, Asians, brown people. We need to come together and fight racism, and that's the only way I see we can end it. So, thanks very much for watching. I know this is difficult, but we can do it. Just as you know, we never thought we'd have internet. We never thought that we would be using Bitcoin. We never thought we'd be using electric car. Same way with people just think of we're just people. Color of the skin you know uh, shouldn't be an issue, and just live life. Thanks.